Alright, today we got Murakumo for Clan Collection, and the Wilista ride line for Lyrical Monasterio because another card fight demonstration. So let's begin. So we start off with the Murakumo stuff, with of course the Heal Guardian and reprints. And then we go to Stealth Fiend Lady Silhouette. Grade 2, 9k power and skills. Auto, when placed on Vanguard rearguard from hand, cost. Counterblast 1, reveal a grade 2 or less unit from your hands, search your deck for one card with the same card name as the revealed unit, and call it to rearguard. Well, Murakumo, you are going to be playing multiple copies of a specific card, so it will be likely that the revealed unit will have some copies in the deck. Now I wish that this card can also choose one card on the field so you get more variety. But anyway, second skill, Auto Rearguard. When this card does not hit, cost. Put this to the bottom of the deck and then choose one of your opponent's rearguard and put it at the bottom of the deck. Not bad. I mean, there are some attack hit skills as well, so you combo this with attack in and not hit, well, that'll be fun. I'll say this is an okay card for a call, but I just do not like the part where you just have to only reveal from hand to get the call. If you can choose from the field, it would have been much better. Next, Stealth Fiend Flightsicle. Grade 2, 9k power and skills. Auto Rearguard. When this card attacks, you may have this card get plus 5k power until the end of that battle. If you do, at the end of the battle, put this at the bottom of the deck. And if this card was placed by the card ability this turn, draw a card. Like I said before, Murakumo is going to be superior calling a lot, mostly by duplication. So obviously you're going to have more than one copy in the deck. And of course part of Murakumo's playstyle is that the clones wear out at the end of the turn. So of course putting that back to the deck is not much of an issue, especially because you want to set it up for next turn. And it's also nice that this is an easy 14k beater. And into the new boss unit, Stealth Fiend Chief Nura Hyouga. Grade 3, 12k power, excel, and its skills. Act, Vanguard, once per turn, costs. Counterblast 1, look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to one Stealth Fiend from among them and call it to rearguard. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this card gets try plus 1 for every 2 Stealth Fiend rearguards, with different names. So unlike most Murakumo playstyles, this one mainly just focuses on calling a bunch of Stealth Fiends. My guess is the idea of ambushing the enemy, but considering that Murakumo has duplication cards, you'll probably get at least one extra drive check, but of course it is possible to get more than one. But anyway, second skill, Auto Vanguard. When your drive check reveals a unit card, and if it's a normal Stealth Fiend unit, call that to a rearguard, and then that unit gets plus 10k power into the end of the turn. If not, you put it to the drop zone. This skill is pretty nice for multi-attack, especially because there are some Murakumo cards that disappear at the end of the battle, giving you an open space, and then using this second skill to call that new unit at open space. That's pretty nice. Now it does have to be called by a drive check, so you will lose one card, but that first skill can refund your hand because of it. But unfortunately, if you do not get those extra drive checks from the first skill, well, you're going to be losing out on hand. But at least now every Stealth Fiend unit can be considered a trigger, especially because the second skill is not once per turn. So overall, this is okay, not as interesting as Nubatama. And now to the Wilista ride line. Here's your starter, and then we go to Proof of Hard Work Wilista. Grade 1, 8k power and skills. Auto, when rode upon, cost. Put one card from your hand to soul, and then search your deck for one gem card and add it to your hand. Those gems are going to be important for this Archetypes playstyle as they directly interact with them. And putting the card in your soul will also be very important, for either soul blasting reasons, or 2, actually putting more gems in your soul because you actually want more gems in soul for your main grade 3. But before we go to those gems, to the second skill, Auto Rearguard. When you play an order this turn, cost Soul Blast 1, this card gets plus 5k power into the end turn. It's not once per turn, so every time you play an order, you can play this skill. And yes, there are some cards that let you play more than one order in a turn, and those gem cards are orders. But I would mainly use this card for the ride deck skill. But anyway, before I go to the grade 2, I'm going to talk about the 2 gems. The first one is True Hearted Ruby. Is a grade 0 normal order and it's a gem, and its skill is cost Counterblast 1, draw 2 cards and then discard 1 card. After that, you put this card to soul. Like I said, that put to soul will be very important for your main grade 3. And yes, it has to be specifically this gem and the other gem, in which the other gem is Everlasting Sapphire, which is also a grade 0 normal order and it's a gem, and its skill is choose one of your units, and during the turn it gets plus 5k power, and then put this to soul. Even though the skill is not that great, it still has to be a 4 because it is a gem that interacts with your grade 3, which will combo well. And now we go to the grade 2 Extending World Wilista. Grade 2, 10k power and skills. Auto Vanguard once per turn. When you play a gem card, draw a card. This is okay, but its second skill, Count Guardian. This card gets 5k shield for every 2 gem cards in your drop zone. On average, it will be 2 to 4, so it will probably be a 10k or 15k shield in many cases. And one of those rare grade 2s that do not have some sort of rearguard skill that only gets power, so this is a considerable part of the main deck as well. And now to the boss unit itself, Prismagica Wilista. Grade 3, 13 power, and its skill is Act Vanguard, Soul Blast 1 True-Hearted Ruby. That's why I said specifically those gems. During this turn, this unit gets plus 15k power, and your opponent cannot intercept. I'll say this is okay, but its second skill, which of course is Act Vanguard, costs Soul Blast Everlasting Ruby. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose 2 unit cards from among them, and call them to open rearguards. And then discard the rest, and then during this turn, those unit gets plus 5k power. And yes, both skills are not once per turn, so you can actually use both skills more than once per turn. As long as you have to build up copies of your gem cards, you can do this more than once. Now this deck doesn't seem to be too interesting since it's all about just gaining some value, and even your main 2 gems don't really do too much. Overall, it is okay. I do see potential in the future where there's going to be gem cards that count as one of these 2 gems. This is just to give more variety purposes, and maybe even bonus skills on top of it just by soul blasting it. But like I said, not too interesting right now, but definitely does have potential. Into some support cards for Wilista. Our first one being Quiet Love Elvira. Grade 1, 8 power and skills. Auto Rearguard. When you play Everlasting Sapphire and your Vanguard is your grade 3 Wilista, draw a card. Then just to regain some value. But our next one, Watching Over Deep Love Artillery, which is a grade 3 with 13k power, skill is Auto Rearguard. When you play True-Hearted Ruby and your Vanguard is your grade 3 Wilista, this card gets plus 10k power and you can play one more additional order this turn. Like I said, there will be multiple cards that play more than one order in a turn, which is of course pretty important because you want to get both gems to your soul so you can play both skills for your main grade 3. Especially with the soul blasting of the gems, you want to rebuild those gems back into your soul. And it's also very nice that this is not once per turn, meaning if you play Ruby again, you can play another order again. You can just repeat till you ran out of rubies. So this is a definitely must play. Speaking of playing more than one order in a turn, there are some card of the days for the archetype. Our first one being Leisurely Chatting Philomia. Grade 3, Dark Power and skills. Auto when placed on rearguard, you may play one additional order this turn. It's just more ways to play more than one order in a turn. Although this one is more generic, so you can play this with any Lyrical Monasterio deck. And then we go to a rare, After School Mini Live Kitana. Grade 1, 8 power and skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, costs Soul Blast 1, discard a card from hand, choose 2 precious stone cards from your drop zone, aka gems, and put it to your hand. Recycling is always very important, especially when you're going to be soul blasting those gems. So this is already instant 4 of. And then we go to Mystic Voice Renata. Grade 2, 10k power and skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, choose 2 precious stones or gems with the same card name from your drop zone, put one to the bottom of the deck, and put the other to soul. You don't really get a direct plus with this, but putting it to soul still helps a lot, especially when you're going to be soul blasting that gem, so obviously play this as well. So that's it for these 2 archetypes. What do you guys think about the Murakumo and Wilista archetypes? Murakumo wasn't too interesting to me, but I did like that they went with the Stealth Fiend route, as there is a lot of Stealth Fiends in Murakumo. But for the Wilista, I was expecting a little more from the gems, like the gem cards giving all your hidden abilities for your main Vanguard, rather than your main Vanguard using those gems for power. But I do see the potential in the future. But on that, that's it for this, and have a nice day.